are now in Monte Albán. It's an archaeological site that is around 20 to 30 minutes by bus or car, by road rather, from Oaxaca. Now we just got off. It's around 100 pesos to enter or get a ticket to enter the archaeological site. So we're getting our tickets and then we're going to go explore Monte Albán. Once you get here, you have to get your tickets, and then you walk up a little bit. It's a bit of a steep, slight incline walk. If you have issues with your knees, you might want to prepare yourself for that. It's not a very long walk, but it is a short, steep walk. And then once you do that, it takes around 10 minutes to climb up, and you get to this main base here with a beautiful view of the city. It's stunning. And here they have a restaurant, a museum, bathrooms, shops. This is actually my first time in Monte Albán. The last time I came to Oaxaca, I did not make it out to Monte Albán. We went to Mitla instead, which is another archaeological site. We just didn't get the time to pack in Monte Albán, but I'm so glad that I'm doing it today because this place is so rich in history. It's incredible how many people in Mexico are so well versed in Indian cities, cultures, and states. Like you've seen in our previous vlogs, the number of times we heard Shah Rukh Khan when we were at Chichen Itza. And now someone just asked us if we're from New Delhi. So clearly Mexico is getting a lot of Indian tourists.
But this is what we see right now. The city center, religious, ceremonial, downtown area, Zócalo. And the other section is the whole thing. So what you see here is the same thing on the other side that is flat. Can you see? Mm-hmm. Then I want you to think about the labor. It was the top of the mountain. They had to cut this off. They had to level the top of the mountain. No machinery, no metal tools, no animals, no wheel. And this is one of the wonders of Mexican archaeology. So the place dates back to 800 BC, and it was abandoned 800 AD. That we call Mixtecos. The place was already ruined, and look at that view. It was overgrown, it was all covered up because it was abandoned, and that was like 300 years already. So Mixtecos did not build anything at all. Aztecs came later from Mexico City, 1500s, same story, they saw nothing. So by the time the Spaniards came in 16th century, think about between 800 AD that the place was abandoned and the Spanish conquest, 800 years already. There was no people around, there was nothing. The city was completely ruined. See that they look like pyramids. There were temples on top that have all collapsed, and you only see the foundations of what it was. This is a house or palace. Something uses a cistern to collect rainwater. The ball court, where they play that religious game. And this is interesting. Can you see how, according to the compass, everything is so precisely built according to the axis north-south, except this one. Even the design of it looks like churn and has the shape of an arrowhead. This is the only one they use for astronomy. And the most spectacular jewelry ever found. Most of the 500 jewels were gold made. Silver, copper, obsidian, alabaster, jade, seashell from the ocean, pearls, necklaces, bracelets, rings, false fingernails, ponytails, bell buckles. Every single piece was taken to the museum in town. Have you ever been to that museum called Santo Domingo? Santo Domingo Church, 16th century, beautiful, magnificent building to see. The museum right next to it, and there is a botanical garden. The Zapotecos have called the place Daniba, that means the mountain of the jaguar, and Mixtecos called it Yucucuy, that means the sacred mountain. Which one did you like the most?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that Monte Albán is easier to remember because when you have those volcanoes near Mexico City, Popocatépetl, Iztaccíhuatl, forget it. Monte Albán is easier to remember. I can give you one of those ancient gods of Mexico to practice with 25 characters. Tlahuizcalpantecutli is what it says for your tongue. Behind the pillars, those will be bricks. That is genuine from 2,500 years ago. Isn't that something? That means very well preserved from a long time ago. And if you don't protect the wall waterproof, look at the weeds, how they're going to grow so fast everywhere. This is the main purpose. Why do we need to protect our housing with something that we call plaster? And then it was painted. See that? Let's get close and see it. This is limestone. This is limestone, sand, and wood.
Yeah.
Even that they have no metal tools, so you need chisels of harder rocks, a flint. What I want you to see from the tree, get close because you are too far. If we make a cut, can you see this? But when you buy it, it's interesting how it looks like a rock.
Yeah.
But it comes from the tree. Something else about the tree, when they are 12, 15 years old, they cut them down. And then the wood is very soft. And all those animalitos, the wood carving you see in the shops in town, called alebrijes.
Yeah.
This is the wood.
Oh, alebrijes is made out of
So
that.
you, the tree is called copal. But if you're really into botanical names, Bursara tree, if you want to Google this. This is the morning glory. And the tall one is what we call jacarandas, but they come from South America. Okay? All the trees are...
If you touch the little droplet you see on this tree, and you smell it, it literally smells like copal or a spa, like a nice perfume fragrance.
Yacac. Right now, Oaxaca mixed up with the Spanish. That means the land of acacia trees. All right? Aztecs call it that way. You get south of Oaxaca. This is the only place in Mexico, by the way, where you do find this clay, and one more place in San Ildefonso, New Mexico, USA.
At Zompa? Is that
No, Atzompa is the green.
the green pottery.
One. The black one is made south of Oaxaca, town called Coyotepec. Okay? And when they, that part of the place was excavated in 2006. And what they did for 5 years is very stuff on top, ruins of temples, palaces, volcans around, because people live on top. Middle class people, and the rest of people, common people, live in between. Okay? That comes from Jalisco, okay? The root of tequila. But anyway, tequila has been the national drink for generations, not mezcal. I want you to see this protection of the trunk. If an animal gets the fruit, it's going to be in trouble. It might be harmed because of the thorns. And when the climate gets so dry and so warm, the tree is going to get the water from these thorns. When you see that the tree is older than this thick, it's going to be all flat. You don't see the thorns anymore. Now, look at the size of the fruit. When they grow bigger than that, like a big mango, they're going to break, and the white stuff, you see, comes out of it. What is it?
Looks like it. Feels like it.
But native from Americas. Has nothing to do with the bush we use today for the production of clothing. This is a tree. So when the Spaniards introduced the sheep wool, that is very good quality. The use of this cotton for indigenous people became less important. Today, we're still using this to fill covered pillows. As soon as you collect a few kilos of the fiber,
So cool.
you will cut it, turn it into yarn, and this is what they use back then for the use of clothing. We have seen the agave fiber, and we have set of skin of several animals. Also for these other classes, lower classes, wood, bamboo like reed, and there is no evidence found about it. So what we'll see this morning later, most of it, they're going to be remains of temples and palaces for middle class and nobles. And the design between classes was also different. Common people used to have this rectangular design of the housing, and nobles, look at the square in the middle, open air courtyard or to avoid the rain. By the time you had to build your house, every single day from the valley to the top of the mountain for 1,600 years. Isn't that a good reason you might say that they probably said, we don't do this job anymore. Let's go on a strike and quit doing this. Then was it a drought, you think, for a long period of time that caused the decline of the city? Was it the result of diseases, a virus like COVID-19, but there were no bodies found? Or was it the result of social conflicts, wars, invasions, the struggle of classes, wars? And there is one more that is still a problem for Oaxaca. Earthquakes. Did you feel the one last night?
No.
It was 11:17 p.m. 3.2 on the Richter scale. It was just a little tremor. Didn't you feel it?
No.
Were you drinking mezcal?
Yeah, actually, yes.
I'm telling you about this because we have earthquakes all the time. And Zapotecos didn't know about it. So one of the days of the calendar, besides that we know they were named after sacred animals, jaguars, eagles, hawks, serpent, they were also worship these movements of the earth, earthquakes. So if you were born that day of the calendar, you were a lucky guy to have that name. Hello, earthquake. How you doing, jaguar, eagle, hawk? If you were not that lucky, then your name was lizard, monkey, dog,
At least the lizard
human
doesn't
face.
get buried alive.
Just found out that these communities that lived here, they believed that they needed a companion when they pass away, so they would bury folks alive next to the person who actually died, and then put cement. And the archaeologists found scratches because they couldn't escape. Ew.
And jade, all kinds of. So all the buildings you saw that they are partially restored, every single one of those was found like this mound back in 1930. Alfonso took this photo that you will see in the museum. Very nice. All those monuments that we see, all found like this. And there were trees on top. Farmers had the chance to grow corn on top of the mountain. So they have done a wonderful job of restoration. But when there is no budget, you should keep it like this. Now, in the last 10 years, archaeologists have found 10,000 ruins in Oaxaca. 10,000, this is crazy. There's no money for all of them.
Which one? Many kids.
You see? You see the funny shape of that. And then look at this is something that we missed because we don't see so many of them. The remains of these people. Something that goes that way, but there is another line of blocks going that way, and there is like a small section of the house. Was it the place for storage, the kitchen, and this part was the courtyard we saw in Tamuanahua. And look at these other remains. You find so many remains everywhere. I don't know if you notice when we stopped down there and we were looking at the mound, there's this level, and this is a bit higher. Can you see? There's one. This is the second. And look at there's going to be a third one. Like those stadiums or auditoriums when we go for a concert.
How incredible would it be if we used AI filmmaking tools, Mom, to make documentaries where you can actually envision these places now with stories, like what they were like.
That's true.
Did people live inside? Use your imagination to visualize the interior.
Images.
Yeah.
You can then look at that. That's so good.
That is a great use case. I would watch those kind of hybrid cinema films.
This is the first time we see some inscriptions on the pillars. And, well, look at them. There's not much we can describe about it. It's completely gone. But this is the first time we see symbols. In a few more minutes, I'm showing you some of the stelas. This platform with the pillars, this is like a shrink, an altar for rituals. So these plazas we are right now can be used for a market day, dances, music, rituals right there. And look at these monuments around. Don't forget what we said about the design. If you say that the remains found are square or rectangular like the one we saw to 104, that was a house. When you see the shape of pyramid, but they're not real pyramids like the ones found in Egypt, right? Because it must be a precise triangle. The ones in Mexico, look at them. They're flat because there's a missing level. There's a missing story. That was a temple. They were all stone. But that missing story was not as tall as the foundation. It was only half. And then people wonder, what about inside of these monuments? Are there chambers, rooms, tunnels that people live inside? Look at that tunnel over there. And this other one here. This is how archaeologists would make such tunnels. And when those tunnels made by archaeologists are located underground, under the buildings, this is the time when they found the graves. When they did the tunnel through the building, look at them. They are completely solar. Nothing else. So this is a vast monument so big, and the temple was very small. Can you see these remains? Straight way ahead in the distance. This is nice to compare these remnants with Tomb 104. Just look at the height of the walls. This is how we know the height of the houses. They are taller than the ones we saw in Tomb 104. And look at the doorway. Can you see?
Yeah.
As soon as you pass the doorway, you will see the courtyard, the rooms around, and Tomb 105 and underground. 25 meters from the doorway, there were these ruins of a ball court, a private one, because the public ball court is near the plaza. Okay, so as families can afford to have a pool or tennis court today, they did the same thing back then. We are splitting out this group in two teams. do we have, what countries do we have in our group today?
We're from India.
Okay.
Canada.
This is the first game. India versus Canada. And then, where did you guys come from?
England.
All right. We have the third team. USA. Make a team that is going that we can call the rest of the world versus Mexico. I'm going to be the referee. Did you know what happened to the players involved in the game?
They died.
They died, right?
They
Yeah.
died.
The winner died.
Okay.
The loser died.
So if you did this, you did play this game for fun, nothing happened to you. But if it was a religious game, there were only two players, one-on-one. And they have said for a long time that the winner was the one that was beheaded.
The winner.
Well, yeah, the winner.
That's what we
Will
heard.
you
Pizza.
sacrifice the best player in town? No way. According to new interpretations, it's still controversial. They do say that the loser was the one who was decapitated.
Yeah.
This is not important to discuss who it was. The thing is that one of them was decapitated. All right. There is a movie they have made about a Mayan story. Have you ever seen that movie produced by Mel Gibson? That is called Apocalipto in Spanish.
No.
I'm telling you about this because the main actors of the movie are from Oaxacan actors. And after you visit the ruins of Monte Albán, you see the movie, even though it's a bit violent and bloody, I think that real life was even worse. You should watch that movie. It's excellent what they did to recreate the colors. Now where they play the game, okay? This can be used for a market day, music, dances. Look at the altar in the middle. And there is 1, 2, 3 buildings, 4 buildings around. And now you see the size of the columns. Where you see they are, these couple are going to make it to the top of that wall. That is going to be the original height of the columns. Not that tall, because if you have earthquakes all the time, there's no way you will build something that tall. Don't forget, this is the main entrance exit. This is where you pass through and get to the religious area. Let's say Sunday morning, let's take the children to the plaza to show them who's going to be sacrificed that morning. Just an example, okay? So this is the place to pass through. And now look at these carvings.
Oh, yeah.
You see? What we saw on the other side, not much at all.
On the other side, I can see anything, and here you can see all that. Finished our tour, and he had mentioned that we were going to end playing one of those ball games that you've seen in my earlier vlog, where we're not sure if the winner or the loser would be sacrificed. It was a ball game that basically was played for hours until someone could score a goal. And it's a very tiny ball trying to enter a tiny hole at a very high height. So he had the ball with him in the bag, and he said that we would be playing it as a group and split us into 2 teams. And I was actually genuinely really looking forward to playing. Turns out it was just a joke. And the tour finished, so I was like devastated because I could have really used somewhere to channel my competitive energy. So now the tour is over, and as you can see, these ruins are absolutely beautiful. Going back to my earlier thought, I really do wish we could use AI or like Google's VO or something along those lines to create a documentary of like what life here would have been like, because sure, I can use my imagination, but it would be so wonderful to reimagine these places, like what the inside of these pyramids looked like, how people would gather here, what the celebrations were, how the games would be, all of those things. I think the story especially of how folks would need a companion to pass away, and they would bury people alive and cement them underground so they couldn't escape. All of that, like, would love to see a documentary. I feel like that would be such a stronger, better way to learn history. And I've said this previously in many other vlogs as well when I travel. So maybe I'll take some of the footage I've gathered and try to create it myself on VO. Let's see what this is, what the pyramid-like structure looks like when it is not excavated. Or this is, I think, partially excavated. So there's a lot of vegetation, greenery on top of it. You can't really see the clear steps. Let me try to zoom in a little bit here. And then this is post-excavation, when you can see the steps. Some of the stones in the peripheral have been reused to rebuild the steps. Very cool. And I think this is exactly where I'm going to take a few pictures, because how beautiful is this?
Monte Albán?
Yeah.
It's also one of UNESCO's heritage sites.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I did not know this fact, but the Machu Picchu
Yeah.
is it's actually 1,000 years older than this, which
No
makes
way.
this older than Machu Picchu.
This is 1,000 years older than Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
Damn, that's incredible. Yeah, that was a really great tour. It was like 2 hours of walking through the sites, hearing the facts, and then you get an hour just to roam around, take pictures, get a coffee, go to the museum. would recommend this tour. And it's not too far from Oaxaca, so it's the perfect half-day trip. It's half an hour, perfect half-day trip. If you're in Oaxaca, consider doing a half-day trip to Monte Albán. We'll put the name of the tour in the description.
Another half an hour, you can reach another region called Mitla.
Mitla, which you've seen in my vlogs from Oaxaca. We went to Mitla in August last year, so go check out that vlog if you're interested in more archaeological sites. Until then, we'll catch you in our next video, right, Mom? Bye! Bye again! Yeah. Wow! That is so cute.
50 pesos.
So they have lots of shops here, right outside Monte Albán. Beautiful carvings, bracelets, necklaces, pouches, walking sticks, stones. Like, look at these. Very cool. More earrings, stones.
50 pesos.
So they have lots of shops here, right outside Monte Albán. Beautiful carvings, bracelets, necklaces, pouches, walking sticks, stones. Like, look at these. Very cool. More earrings, stones.
50 pesos.